This camera right here is the brand new Sigma BF. A camera that without a doubt looks like nothing we've really seen before. I mean, it's really sleek and futuristic looking, but the real question is it actually any good? Or is it just another, cool looking gimmick? Well, I've had the opportunity to really put it to the test for the last week. And in this video, my friends, I want to share everything that I've liked about it, dive into the ins and outs on who this camera is for and what this actually is, as well as tell you guys the few things that I, quite frankly, didn't like about it. All right, so first thing first, let's look at the build quality and what this camera actually packs under the hood. As you can see, this camera is one solid piece of metal, and it looks really freaking cool, in my opinion at least. It's really edgy, and on front here, you can see this raffly thing that is kind of made, I think, not only to look good, but also when you are gripping it. Now, the entire camera is actually one solid piece of metal. And I actually had the opportunity to visit the Sigma factory last week, and I saw the machines that were doing it. It takes them 7 hours to carve out this little block, which is insane. And I think they have 6 machines. So they can only produce, I think, 9 pieces a day, making this kind of a little bit rare. But the entire theme is a really minimalistic, futuristic, and just sleek, cool looking design. On top you have one button, and on the back there are just a couple of buttons with this rolling button here, which is also this metal. I think this looks super sick. Some people might not agree with me, and that is totally okay, but to me, I think I don't know, it looks really dope and badass. And I think Marcus Brownlee said that if Apple would make a camera, it would probably look something like this. And I think he's not that far off. Now, it's equipped with a 24.6 megapixel full frame sensor, which is really cool. It can film 6K footage up to 30 frames per second. And I think if you wanted to do 120 frames per second, you get that in full HD. Not bad. Now, it does have bent on this place and this place, and that is just made to make it a slightly more comfortable when you are holding it. But I'll get a little bit later on if it's actually comfortable holding it or not. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. Now, another thing I think is really cool about this camera is that there is no SD cards. There's actually just internal storage. So it has 230 gigabytes of internal storage, if I remember correctly, USB-C connected to your computer, and you just transfer the files over. I don't understand why not all cameras have just maybe a little bit of internal storage. I don't know about you, but I've forgotten SD cards so many times, and now I just bring a bunch of them in my cameras. But even when they are depleted, then you might run out without one. So just in case. But a 230 gigabyte is that is great. You can take a lot of pictures. I can't remember exactly how many, but a ton of them with the camera by itself. They've also tried to redo the entire menu system from ground up, making it very simple and very intuitive. I shoot with Sony cameras, and it feels like most camera brands, they've inherited a menu system from way back, which is quite clunky and little bit complicated, and it takes a little while getting used to. This is extremely simple. Now, you will notice when you're looking at this camera that it lacks a few things that many would maybe like to have. There is no viewfinder. So doing this or lining up a photo, which is so satisfying using a viewfinder, not possible. So you're limited to the screen. The screen is also, you cannot take it in and out. You understand? So it's stuck in this position right here. And that could be something that many people maybe wouldn't want to have. Now, you can mount this camera to a tripod, but another thing that it lacks too is no hot shoe as well. So that is something to keep in mind too. If that is something that you really want in a camera, then this one does not have that. But a little bit later on in the video, I'll share my views on who I think this camera is for. And I think that might maybe surprise you a little bit. By the way, if you want to level up your photography and learn how to create better content as a photographer and really learn how to make money doing what you love, then I invite you to sign up to my free newsletter. Every week I send out one email. It's really quick to read, 1, 2, max 3 minutes. And it's basically packed with tips. That is something that I think is really valuable. As a thank you too, you will get my black and white preset pack for free. And yeah, in the description, my friend, there's a link free to sign up, and you can like cancel at any time. No strings attached. Anyway, see you on my email and continue the video. Now, as I said, over the last week or so, I've had the opportunity to test this camera out quite a lot. And there are some things that I did not really like, but there are some things that I liked a ton as well. And let's start with the image quality. Now, the image quality on this camera is nothing that we can really complain about. I think it's like more than capable. I actually think it's quite like I actually think it's really good. And even like when I was out during nighttime in Tokyo, then the photos I was capturing, they're quite sharp, especially considering that I'm pushing up the ISO from 6,000 all the way to 12,000. Now, one thing though, this camera does only have an electronical shutter. So I was experiencing some of that flicker in a few of the nighttime shots because it does not have like a mechanical shutter, only an electronical shutter. But overall, there's nothing really to complain about when it comes to the image quality, but don't just take my words for it. So before I tell you like who I think this camera is for, what I really liked about it, and then things that I think I did not like that much, then let's see what my friend Mats had to say about this little piece right here.
All right, Mats, you've had this camera as long as me. What do you think?
I think it's a beautiful, stylish camera, but as a hardcore landscape photographer for professional use that I do, it's maybe a little bit too edgy.
but the image quality is good.
Exactly. The image quality is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I have not tried it for astro landscape photography yet, but my estimated guess is that it's really good 24 megapixel sensor, and the JPEGs we have seen straight out of the camera, ISO 10,000, ISO 12,000, beautiful, sharp, crisp. We can of course also talk about that the lens matters,
Yeah.
but the camera in and of itself, I like it. It's different, it's stylish.
So as you can hear, this camera, it's really different and it's quite niche. And I think a lot of people are wondering, who is this camera really for? And Mr. Icelandic guy, would you buy it? I want to share that with you, but first let me touch on the things that I've liked about it, and then what I haven't liked. So first thing first, I really like the design of it. Personally, I think it looks really cool. And you can like have a camera strap on it. It's not on both sides, so you're having it hanging out like this. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm not that big like fashion icon, or am I? I'm a Viking icon, not a fashion icon. But so I don't own a cool camera strap, but I can definitely see myself wearing it with like a cool camera strap, wearing some cool streetwear, just having it hanging out here, and it just looks really cool. And the fact that this has a full frame sensor with interchangeable lenses. So I can really pick and choose the lenses that I want to have. That I think makes it really versatile. The look is also pretty sick. It comes in this metal color, or you can get the black color as well. Now the black color has the minus advantages of getting quite a lot of smudges in my opinion. So you might kind of would have to have one of these cloths all the time if you don't want to have a smudge camera. The silver version, I don't think gets that much smudge, not like anything more than other objects. So this, I think this one looks really dope. Other than that, like for what it is, then I think it's a sick little camera. But what is it? We'll touch on that soon. So the things that I have not liked really is that the battery, I'm gonna say that it's quite bad. Like it depletes pretty quickly, and you will have to have a few of them. Now, the good thing is that it charges quite quickly as well, but it does not hold a ton of power, and I would wish that it was just a little bit better, because you can really just see the percentage going down quite a lot. Now, other than that, then, I mean, it is quite edgy. And if you're shooting for a long time, then you will feel it a little bit in your like hands, especially this hand here that holds. But then again, it's not like intended to be a camera that you're out shooting with as a professional all the time doing your work with. It's more like an everyday carry. So maybe I'm being a little bit harsh there, because the look of it is quite sick. Another thing is that with the lens, it's quite front heavy. And now I know that you can like put whatever lens that you want that has like the Sigma L mount here, but it becomes a little bit front heavy with this 35mm that I have on at the moment. Now, one of the, I was a part of the Sigma Nordic group that went to Japan to be a part of this announcement. And one of the guys in our group, he actually pitched the CEO to make a pancake lens and a really thin one. And and I hope that the CEO listens. He's a really cool guy, the CEO of Sigma, because a really small pancake lens on this would be so good. Because in my opinion, that would just make so sense for what this camera is intended to be. And it leaves us with the question, who is this camera really for, and would I buy it? So what Sigma is trying to do with this camera is to make a everyday carry camera that looks good. The truth is that our market and our industry and our hobby is shrinking. Less and less people are getting interested in photography, and I think a big reason for that is the smartphones. So Sigma is trying to make a cool everyday carry camera that you can just bring with you wherever you want and take photos just as you would with your phone, but better quality, allowing you to change lenses with a full frame sensor, and it's really capable. So that is their intention. So while it's not a professional camera, it's definitely a camera for professionals or amateur as well, that just like to have something cool with them to photograph everyday life. I don't know about you, I'm a photographer, and I'm not carrying with me my big cameras all the time, taking raw photos of just everyday moments with my kids and then editing them like I do with my landscape photos or my street photography photos. I can't be arsed. So this is definitely something that I would think about, and it does look quite good. So that is the whole intention of it. You understand what I'm trying to say? And I think that is really interesting that Sigma decided to go down the route of creating a more futuristic and really minimalistic camera instead of the entire retro type of cameras that all other companies seem to be pumping out nowadays, because that is so popular. Is it good? I don't know. I'm not a marketing genius or anything like that. It could have been good for them to do the retro, but then they also would have been blended in with the retro cameras and not being this talk of the town as they are right now, because everybody is looking at this camera and be like, what the hell is this? So and that piques a lot of curiosity. And I said it multiple times, but it does look pretty sick. But then again, that is also the beauty is in the eye of the beholder, because I know some people are looking at this and be like, ooh, but what do you think? Anyway, would I buy this camera? The truth is that, yeah, I think so. I'm not totally sure, but I have been on the lookout for an everyday camera. And I was actually thinking of buying the Fuji camera with the JPEGs. And then there was one more thing too that I should add with this camera, is that you have different types of looks that you can shoot with it. So you can both customize your own different look, similar to you have on the Fuji. And also it comes with custom looks within the JPEGs. Really, really nice. And that is something that I've been eyeing the Fuji on and being like, wow, that looks really cool. I can just shoot stylized JPEGs that I of everyday moments, and it looks pretty sick. But now this has come into the picture, and I now need to think about if I want to get this or the other one. However, is it everything that I need for photography in this day and age? Well, if you want to know the answer to that question, then my friend, next you should watch this video right here.